Today, we utterly humiliate a London system player where we use our Philidor-like structure to just destroy the hopes and dreams of this player in our episode 4 of our Road to 2000 series on chess.com. Let's get straight into it. All right, round 3 against 1687. Now in this position, our opponent plays d4, not our favorite type of opening to play against. And our opponent is playing what I consider the most boring opening of all time, the Kali Zuker, not the Kali Zukertort, that's not the most boring, that's my favorite opening. But our opponent's playing the London defense, and I think the London defense is a pretty, well, pretty boring opening, to be honest. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try to take advantage of it by playing these moves that I like to trick my opponent with. Like if they play bishop d3 here, I have tricks like pawn e5, they capture, we capture back. And in the London system, it's all about being tricky against them, because a lot of London players, they're not very smart, to be honest, and they play these moves which are not very good, with the idea of they just want to get into a middle game where they have an okay position. But it's never really an amazing position, which is my problem with this opening and why I really don't like it, even though this is an opening that is played quite a bit by high-rated players, because it's an opening where you just slowly just try to outgrind your opponent. But, well, if you don't really know how to play chess properly yet, then that can be an issue, right? So I'm going to play pawn a5 here. Like, this is strange by my opponent here. He doesn't want to take me because then he has a weakness on a3. But it's not like he can just ignore me, because then this rook is hanging and I can just take, and then bishop takes. And so it's a little strange. Like, what is our opponent doing in this position? Because it looks like he's just getting like destroyed here. And it looks like our position is just very good. Like, what is this bishop on f2 really doing? And the answer is not really doing much. Now, it's not like my bishop on d6 is doing much either, but it's definitely doing a lot more than what his bishop is doing. So let's move our knight back here so we can plop it to g6. That's the general idea in these positions. Because if he ever plays pawn e4, which I think he does need to play soon, I can play knight g6 and maybe try to get my knight to f4, which is a pretty nice square for my knight to be on. I'm never going to take him unless he gives me an advantage, because it always gives our opponent an opportunity to mess up by taking us, and that's good for us. So let's play knight g6. In this position, that's the move we wanted to play. We're going to just develop our pieces very quickly now. We're going to play something like bishop e6. We're going to play rook d8. We're going to have a good position here. Okay, let's play this move over here. If he ever plays knight e4, we just snap him off. That's completely fine for us. And we're going to try to outgrind our opponent here in this type of position. Bishop f5 doesn't work, even though that's a pin. It's because they can play capture with a check, which is not great for us. And in this position, now I have ideas of pawn f5. Pawn f5, queen c2, pawn push. They take d6. So that doesn't quite work for me just yet. But do I want to play f5 with the idea of playing pawn f4 to shut down his bishop forever? That is an idea we can go for, especially due to the fact that our opponent's king side is particularly weak here. So actually, I want to try pawn f5, make sure all my pieces are still safe, which they are, and I'm going to play pawn f4. I'm just going to try to shut down his king side here. f4, even with ideas of like pawn e4 in that position here. We could also play bishop. We could have played bishop d5 in that position. That was something that we could have done. There's a lot of things we could have done in this position here. So f5, maybe pawn f4. It's scary. Whether or not I would have played this in a real game, that's another question. But it's a little bit complicated. So in this position, he's just trying to take here. Now, if I play here, he'll take my pawn here, which isn't good for me. Or is it? Yeah, it's not great. So let's just play rook here. The idea of rook here is that we're threatening discovery attacks, and we're also threatening pawn e4 in the future. So our opponent needs to be a little bit spooked about this. We also have pawn f4 coming in as well. I suppose what my opponent was trying to do is he's trying to play knight g5 in this position. No, he just moves back, which is a little strange. I guess he could do this. He does that to play pawn. Now, I think pawn h6 is possible just to stop his knight from going to g5, which would be annoying. And that was pawn e5, but that's good for me because I have pawn f4. So let's go for that. Our position is just very nice. It's very smooth. All my pieces are very good here. If he ever plays pawn e4, we just crush his bishop's hopes and dreams on h2. Okay, so this is interesting. So he wants me. He's basically asking me to take him here, which is interesting. He's trying to double up here, which is something he can do, I guess. I could play pawn e4. Pawn e4, bishop takes, rook takes, and he gets his knight to d4. That's a little annoying to me. I don't really want that to happen. So pawn f4 I can't actually play at the moment because then he'll just take my knight on g6. So maybe I play king h7, pawn f4 is an idea I could go for. It's actually tough here. What if I play bishop here with the idea of playing bishop d5? If he plays rook d1 and then he has c5. No, he doesn't have c4. I capture. To be honest, queen c7 looks like a very nice positional move. It defends a lot of my weaknesses here. And I have threats now. f4 is stronger, knight is defended, bishop's defended, and I have bishop d5 coming in. f5's defended as well. Everything's pretty strong here, so we're pretty happy about this position here. Yeah, and yeah, he might be able to win my pawn here, but I don't care about that pawn. The pawn's not important. I can easily get it back if he takes me there, so not really a problem. Now, an issue might be like I can't push this e-pawn anymore, but it's not like I really wanted to push the e-pawn anyways. I hope he takes us here, but he doesn't, which, you know, is to be expected. If we play here, our opponent might have bishop takes b5, which is actually something I did not calculate, so I need to be careful about this one. Like a bishop d5, bishop takes b4, but I have this in between move, don't I? No, but then he has rook takes d6 at the end of all that. Though it looks fine for me, so let's just play bishop d5. Idea we're going to take here, and we're blocking everything here. So our opponent doesn't have anything in that position. And now he can't even take on a5, because then we take on a3. And this position looks decent. It looks decent for us for sure. We're just slowly trying to outgrind our opponent. Now, did we make mistakes? Probably at some point. But I like our position here. And in the end, that's really what matters here. Whether or not you like your position, as long as you don't fall for any tactics, I should be able to slowly outgrind my opponent, and he won't be able to do anything about it. Like, look how nicely coordinated all my pieces are. His pieces aren't really doing much in general. They're kind of just trying to hold back my position, which is not a good strategy to begin with. It's not like he has any pawn breaks. c4 is what I'm scared about. Pawn a4, e4 is what I'm scared about. But none of these actually do anything. And our opponent just retreats here, which is so strange. He just runs away. I guess he wants me to play pawn e4, but what does this move do? Other than let me play something like knight here. I can play knight there, threaten a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm just threatening this guy over here. I mean, if he plays f3, this bishop's going to be sad. And I even have queen g6 ideas. Knight here, my pieces are coming into the attack extremely quickly. I don't think he has any threats. Maybe I should play bishop c7 in the future, just make sure I don't fall for any pins or skewers or anything. But I really didn't see anything, so I'm not worried about anything my opponent has here. Oh my, what? Pawn g3? That does not look right either, because, well, just looking at his position, this can't look right? Because look at his bishop on h2. Now, if I move knight to g6, perhaps his idea is he wants to play bishop h5, but like, he wants to give me his light square bishop? Really? I don't think that's his idea here, or at least I don't think that should be his idea here. Now the question is, do I play queen g6 or knight g6? It's interesting. Queen g6, he plays like king f1. My knight doesn't have any good squares to go to at that point, which means it might be lost in that position. So I think we just play knight g6, and he plays queen h5. I mean, it is what it is. Like, look at this guy. This bishop is literally eternally trapped here now, which is not good. Okay, I just move my queen up. I don't want him to be pinned here, at least to my piece. I'll just slowly get my pieces out here. Should be fine. He doesn't have this push. He doesn't have this push anymore. And if he takes me, this is just terrible. And he can never play g4 because his king gets too weak. Okay, so now he contests my bishop on d5. But can I not just play here now? Yeah, I guess I can play here now in this position because now his light squares are so bad and his dark square bishop is literally missing. It's gone. And now we have moves like knight e4 coming in, and knight e4 is so dangerous for our opponents. he plays this, but is he trying to play knight g4? I don't think so. What if I just solidify on the light squares, positionally dominate him there? Now, I do need to be scared of him just YOLO sacrificing here, to be honest. That's not really something I want my opponent to be doing. So what if we just play the passive move bishop c7 first, just saying, hey, I'm going to defend my rook, I'm going to defend a5, I'm going to defend my bishop, so you cannot just sacrifice your rooks and try to get some compensation that way. Okay, he's trying to play pawn c4. Makes sense, to be honest. Pawn c4 is a move that he should be trying to go for, otherwise he's literally lost in this position. But what if I just stop him? What if I just play queen e6 and say no? I think queen e6 to say no is pretty decent here. Nope, I'm not letting you play pawn c4. That's the move you want to play. I'm not letting you do it. Okay, he's trying to come here, which makes sense. What if I play knight here, though? This looks very good. Look at that light square here. It's kind of cooked for him, no? If I get my piece here. Knight to f3 check. And if he plays bishop e2 to defend, well, that can't be good for him because his light squares are completely moved now. I think this is a big mistake. He has to play knight back now, but then that just wastes tempos now. And then we can slowly just increase our position, improve our position. Now he just lets us check him here, which cannot be right because now we can just snap that knight off. And after we snap the knight off, we can take the rook on d2. But the question is, do we even want that rook, to be honest? Okay, he captures this way. Can we play pawn e3 here? Is pawn e3 not just a killer move? Pawn e3, threatening like every discover attack in the world. But then he has rook takes, YOLO sacrifice. That would have been so cool if we could do it. Now, what if knight here? No, but he always has the sacrifice here, which is annoying. So I think we just take, and then whatever piece he captures back, we just push here. And then we just win his whatever piece goes there. It's not the most flashy way of winning. It's not the coolest way of winning, but I think it's just really, really, really nice what we did here. Our opponent just gives us the free piece, I guess. I mean, I suppose that's something he can do. And now that we're winning, you guys know my mantra. Just trade off all the pieces and win the game. Trade, 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 trade. And look at that bishop over here. It's tragic. It's really a tragedy. That bishop on h2. Okay. Okay. Technically, queen e1 is a very easy way to win the game, but you know what? Whatever. Let's just do it and take advantage of his terrible bishop on h2. That bishop is literally a pawn, if you guys think about it. It's terrible. Okay. Let's do this. Something like this. Let's force him to capture us. And then we'll come get his pawns over here. He's going to play something like g4, trying to get his bishop out. And after g4, I want you guys to think, after your opponent plays g4, what move would you guys play in that position? After your opponent's threatening to win your pawn on f5. Now, obviously, it doesn't matter in this type of position because we're up so much material. What? Okay, looks like our opponent just decided death was his option. But the move I was mentioning here that is very important is after g4, you just play g6 and you just don't let him do anything. And so our opponent resigns here. I mean, we just won. It says we actually made 2 blunders. So let's do an analysis here just to make sure that we don't actually make the same mistakes over again. Let's take a look at the analysis. Okay, so it says in this position, we didn't play too well, only a 2050 rating. And the position was very equal for the most part, which again is one of the issues I have with the London system. It's just too equal. And black can equalize very quickly, and then he can do whatever he wants, and then black will be good. Now in this position, likes bishop b3, but f5 I think was a move that gave me all the chances here in this position that allowed me to get all these chances to win the game. So I really like this. So, and again, the position says it's completely equal, which is, well, fine. So here we missed bishop b3, skewing the queen to the rook, which, my bad, to be honest. And I kept missing it, to be honest. For some reason, this didn't even register in my mind. Instead, I just kept trying to attack his king side. Okay, so g3 is obviously bad because his bishop on h2 was garbage for the rest of the game. And in this position, I kept missing the tactics. Like, I kept missing bishop b3 for some reason. Bishop blindness. While I really like pawn e4. In this position, bishop c3 is just a more aggressive version of bishop c7. I play a little bit too passively sometimes, I feel. Queen e6 makes sense for stopping pawn c4. I kind of just try to stop my opponent from winning, more so than trying to win myself. Yeah, bishop b3 just makes so much sense there. Knight f3, and then we just win the game here. Very easily, pawn push, win the rook, and then the rest of this game is history, right? So we made a couple blunders, and the blunders we made weren't that we were going to lose, but we just did not see the bishop b3 tactic for some reason, and we do need to be more on the lookout for these things instead of just playing super, positionally all the time. Because while playing positionally will help you win the game at all times, like the Sun Tzu quote, where strategy is the slowest path to victory, but tactics is the noise before defeat. I really do enjoy that quote, and I, take it to heart in my chess games. I probably could, win a couple games a little bit faster, and I think this is a good example of that. And so today we learned how to dominate the opponent's London system with a very clean Philidor-like structure. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, a comment, and perhaps a subscription below. And let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, well, I'm glad. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.